big game this weekend. West Ham away at the London Stadium. Big London derby in terms of the season. Big London derby in terms of the teams. We need to go to West Ham. We need to get some revenge from what happened a year ago today or last week, obviously when we drew 3-3. It's going to be a tough game. West Ham, obviously, they're a much better side than what they were a couple of years back. They're performed really well in Europe last night, a 3-0 win. They're going really well in Europe, actually. And actually, their league form isn't as good as probably what it was last season. They're stuttering a bit, but you know, they're going to come into this game with full of confidence. They're going to think that they can do us over. They're going to come with the right mentality, and they always play well against us at the London Stadium, let's be honest. So how do we combat this team, and how do we go out there and get a result this weekend?
Yeah, it's going to be very difficult because they've got good quality in their team, and they're going to be on top of their game. They're going to be up for the fight. We all know that. In terms of resting players, I know we rested 10 players, but they also rested quite a few important players as well during the Europa League. You know, Antonio got a good rest, Benrahma, Fornals, Zuma, some like really important players for them. So it's not going to be easy at all to combat what West Ham give, and they're a very aggressive side, very physical side, especially away when we're going to be away from home. The crowd are going to be behind them. It's going to be super difficult. They're going to be so confident, you know, considering the results. They beat us last year 2-1, and they got obviously the 3-3 draw at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So the recent history is in their favour, although they don't have Jesse Lingard anymore. So they're going to be super confident, I'm sure about it. It's their cup final. They're like the players like Declan Rice, you know, who's gone to World Cup, Euro finals and World Cups now and whatnot. So he's like, they have players in their squad who rightly can puff their chest out about how good they are and that they don't need to fear anyone. So it's all about having, obviously, the midfield battle is going to be crucial. Højbjerg and Skip up against Souček and Rice. That's going to be...
It's a big battle, isn't it?
That's going to be a tough one.
Battle.
It's going to be a tough one. We're going to have to make sure that we don't give them any sort of joy and don't give them any encouragement as to overrunning us in midfield. We need Ndombele to step up as well, because Fornals will probably start in that number 10. He's a very hard worker in the centre mid. As much as he's got quality, he works really hard as well, and he's part of that unit. They're a really well organised, proper David Moyes side. When David Moyes at his best.
Every single player in that team is a hard worker, aren't they? Every single one.
So it's going to be. It's going to be really hard to definitely get a win if we're going to get a win. I can see it being a very close game. I think if we're hopefully we've learned the lessons of the Emirates, and we're not going to put in a complete no-show like we did on that day and completely just give up before the game was even started. It felt like against Arsenal. It's important if we can get a result in this game. It goes some way to righting those wrongs that were done on that day, because it shows we can be up for the fight. But with Antonio as well, his start to the season, obviously, I think he's bagged 4 or 5 goals already in the Premier League after 8 games of bag.
Albeit it has slowed down a bit recently.
True, he started like a house on fire, but it has slowed down a bit, just like West Ham's form. But you know he's going to be up for this one, and he's turned into such a good striker, I must say. Physically, so strong, so hard to deal with. In the air, he's really good in the air. If you get the balls into the box, he's very likely to get a good spring and get a head on it. His finishing is so much better than it used to be. It used to be the thing that lets him down, but now he's able to hold off defenders. He's able to use his pace to get beyond them, and he's able to have the finish as well to put it past the keepers. So Romero is going to be so crucial in this game to make sure that to stop the ball getting into Antonio. Don't let him hold the ball up and bring other players into play. If we can make sure he's super aggressive against him. Look, Romero's dealt with stronger attackers than Antonio, so he knows how to deal with strength like Lukaku or other players of that ilk. So I'm confident he can do that, but it's going to be very, very difficult. Maybe if Antonio pins himself to Dyer, then we might be in a bit of trouble. If he starts backing into Eric Dyer rather than Romero, then I can see him getting a lot more joy there. So it's all about tactics. But if we can somehow stop the ball going to Antonio at source, then that's going to will go some way to stifling West Ham. And then look, our front line can hurt anyone in the Premier League when they're on form. They really can. So it's all about keeping it compact, keeping it tight, making sure the balls to Antonio don't get through. Benrahma obviously has a lot of individual quality as well, shooting from outside the box.
He's really stepped up this season, Benrahma.
Yeah. He's been fine. He's been again another player who started really well this season, despite as well slowing down a bit. But we need to stop and don't let him shoot too much from outside the box. Don't let him get into central areas. Emerson's going to have to be on him like a rash as well. It's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough. But it's about how we react. It's not about react. It's being about proactive, about knowing how West Ham are going to come at us. And then having the likes of Son, Lucas and Ndombele being on top of their game, working in the spaces, making sure when they're dribbling, they're on their A game, not getting easily tackled and easily dispossessed, making sure they're beating their men, winning their individual battles. And, with the likes of Son and Kane there, if we can get the ball to them, fashioning chances, we've got every chance of winning. We do have every chance of winning. I'm so sure of that. But it's about how we do it, because West Ham are going to be so compact.
Yeah, and we do have a fairly good record at the London Stadium. All in all, I think we've beaten them there more times than they've beaten us there.
I think so,
that's for sure. So, but I think they've beaten us probably more times at the Tottenham Stadium. Is that right? Since we've beaten them there?
No, we beat them under Mourinho.
So it's 1-1-1.
Yeah.
1 draw, 1 win, 1 loss at the Tottenham Stadium. So, I mean, it's not the greatest record, is it? But look, it's West Ham's, the old cliche, West Ham's cup final. But I think it's a bit more than that now, because West Ham are a much better team than they have been in the past couple of years, or definitely since the Premier League has started. This is probably their best team since the Premier League has started. So it's going to be a very tough game. And I just really hope we come out there and really give a performance for the fans, because the fans deserve it after, that 500, I think it was 500 Spurs fans out in Holland last night. And they just don't deserve that after travelling all that way, spending all that money and just seeing that dross on the pitch. They need to come back and they need to show the fans that they're here to fight. I know it's going to be a completely different team, but when you look at the two teams in Europe, West Ham and Spurs, obviously Spurs made a completely changed side, complete dross on the pitch. West Ham, they made a few changes. They rested quite a few players last night, but came away with a 3-0 win.
Yeah.
Does that show the mentality of the squad? Does that show strength and depth? What does that show?
Definitely shows a bit. Look, they chopped and changed half their teams. I'm sure if Spurs did similar, we would have won yesterday. But I think obviously it shows that they can slot a few players in and out. Everyone knows their role and what they can do in this team under Moyes. Tactically, everyone's up to speed. That's what it shows to me. I think set pieces. I think they scored 2 goals from set pieces. To be fair, so
that is the Dane. That's what I'm really worried about this weekend, because everyone knows about us and defending set pieces.
Yeah, and Craig. Well, I don't know if Craig Dawson will play, but they scored. They won the game against Everton from a set piece as well.
Ogbonna can score from a set piece. Zuma can score from a set piece. You know what I mean? Souček can score from a set piece. You know what I mean? They got so many players in there with aerial ability and physical ability that we have to worry about this weekend.
Yeah, and that's always the worry. We haven't really got to grips this season, so we barely ever get. Remember last season we were literally conceding from set pieces left, right, and centre. This season as well, we haven't had too much joy from set pieces. And West Ham is the one under Everton under Moyes. That was one of their biggest sources of goals with set pieces, and now he's brought that to West Ham as well. They're a physical team. They got the likes of Souček and Rice as well, who are, especially Souček, who's so unbelievably good at set pieces in terms of attacking them with his head. Like, he is so hard to stop. Even the best, he regularly gets goals against the bigger clubs from set pieces. So it's going to be super difficult to stop them, but we have to be on our A game. We have to make sure we don't give away too many set pieces, too many corners and free kicks and stuff like that. We have to make sure that we're on top of our game fully. Otherwise,
no Aurier in the team this time.
Yeah, exactly. We can't be giving away too many fouls. We can't be giving them too much encouragement. It's going to be so hard to do that. But we have the quality. I really believe with Skip and Højbjerg patrolling things, we have a solid base there. We have to make sure maybe we go there and try. I know West Ham, they're not the most possession-based side. They're going to I reckon they're going to come and try and, I remember the London Stadium last season, even though we lost 2-1, Spurs had more of the running and we had more of the possession. And it was West Ham hitting us on the counter-attack a couple of times, which did us. I think they only had 2 shots on target and they won the game.
With Jesse Lingard, yeah.
And I think it might be Antonio as well at the beginning of the game. So I think
He always scores against us, Antonio.
he does.
Always scores
does.
against us. We need to keep him quiet, and that's going to be Romero's job, isn't it? He's got to watch Antonio like a hawk on the weekend.
So we got to make sure we're on the ball. We're keeping possession well. We're not wasting it. We're not being sloppy on the ball. We're being precise, like we were against Newcastle, playing nice triangles, frustrating West Ham, and when they get the ball on the counter attack, we're cutting the supply at source. Romero stepping in on Antonio, not letting him get the ball in turn. Emerson is being tight to Ben Rama and not letting him shoot from outside the box. These are main things. Then also not allow, and if we're going to concede free kicks, do it high up the pitch, where it's in the halfway line or in the West Ham half. Don't concede free kicks in and around the penalty box on a consistent basis, because one of them will go in. Just judging by how good they are at set pieces. So that's how we win the game. Make sure possession-wise we're on top of our game, and we're patient. We don't panic. Make sure we're patient build up, and I reckon we'll dominate possession on Sunday.
Okay. Well, you said what you hope's going to happen. You said you think we are going to dominate possession, but how do you think the game is actually going to play out this weekend?
I think West Ham will definitely be confident. I 100% think that. I reckon a goal from a set piece will go in for them, but I reckon we can turn them over. I don't know about a win. It's going to be hard to win. I reckon we can win on Sunday, but it's going to be difficult. But probably a draw. He'll probably end up a draw, like 1 or 2-2. That's what.
You happy with the draw this weekend?
I wouldn't take a draw if you offered it to me right now. But if it is going to be a draw, it's not the worst result in the world. It's not unfortunately, this is where we're at now, where a draw away at West Ham, you have to take that. I don't think you can sniff at a point in the London Stadium.
I mean, if you
now.
can take 4 points from your next 2 games, that's a good haul, isn't it?
Yeah, beating United. Yeah, I mean, looking at United right now, why can't we beat them? But yeah, if you offered me 4 points right now, I'll take it. I'll take it. So if a draw tomorrow, on Sunday, it's not the end of the world, is it? It's not like the worst result. I do think we could win. I think if you take our first 11s right now, I don't know if you could do a combined 11, but if you took our first 11s.
Well, look, let's try do one now. Quickly, 4-2-3-1, combined 11. I mean, in goal.
I think you probably got Lloris in goal.
In goal, you got Lloris. Right back, it's Soufal or Emerson. You're probably going to say Soufal.
All right, you give us Soufal. I think he's pretty good.
Centre backs, Romero gets in there for sure.
Romero and probably Zuma.
You reckon Zuma gets in there?
Or
Why didn't we sign Zuma then? You think? Because we were looking at Zuma in the summer and we all said no.
Or maybe Ogbonna. I don't know. I think one of their centre backs probably gets in.
All right, we'll give it Zuma. We'll give Romero and Zuma. And left back.
Yeah, I think Reguilon's better than Cresswell. As much as actually, I think
Cresswell's a good player.
He's good, but he is good, and but he gets a lot of assists from set pieces and stuff in open play. I think he's getting the wrong side of 30 now. I actually don't think he's decent, but I'd rather have Reguilon in my team.
Do you think Cresswell's one of these players, a la Matt Doherty, that everyone kind of rates him a lot more because of his numbers?
Probably. I think his numbers also mask how easily he can be beaten from an attacking point of view. Like if you're an attacker and you're up against Cresswell, I'd much rather face Cresswell than Reguilon for sure. But Cresswell, he's got great delivery. I'll give it to him. His delivery's brilliant, and he's got really good set pieces. But I think as a defender and just in general play, like getting up the left flank, I think Reguilon's better.
So Reguilon left back, the double pivot. I would probably say Souček and Højbjerg.
What, Rice over?
Sorry.
Rice.
Rice. Oh, Rice and Souček.
I think Rice and Souček. I reckon I would probably just about pick Højbjerg over Souček.
So Rice and Højbjerg.
Yeah, I'll probably pick Rice and Højbjerg. I think Souček's a great player, but I think Højbjerg just about influences the game a bit more than Souček does. As much as Souček is great from set pieces and he's good at running in late in the box, he's great at that. I think Højbjerg covers a bit more ground and has a bit more authority on the pitch.
So all right, Rice and Højbjerg in the middle, left wing Sonny, right wing. Who do they have on the right wing? Benrahma, or is he the left wing?
Well, Benrahma's on the left. They have like maybe Fornals. Well, Fornals is more in the centre.
I think Lucas goes on the right then.
Trying to think who they have on the right wing. Who do they have on the right?
Bowen.
Jared Bowen. I think Lucas is probably better than Bowen.
Yeah, I'd give it to Lucas. Number 10.
Or there's also Lanzini and Vlasic and Yarmolenko, but I don't think any of them will get in ahead of Lucas.
It's Sonny on the left, Moore on the right. Number 10, Ndombele against
Fornals or Lanzini.
Ndombele.
Yeah.
Ndombele gets, and obviously Harry Kane. So,
how many players was that? They got Soufal, Zuma, Rice.
And that's it.
So 3. So that's what I'm saying. Although there were a few tight calls in there, I do think Tottenham overall do still have a better first 11, player for player. So if we can make sure that we're dominating possession and let our quality shine through, there is no reason why we can't take 3 points. There's no reason to be afraid of them, but you have to respect them and what they can do, because they're going to come at us and they're going to be super confident, and they're going to, I can even see early doors them getting a goal just like Newcastle did, flying out the traps. But it's important, even if we do concede early, just keep calm, keep playing the ball like we did against Newcastle. Don't panic, and I'm sure our superior quality can shine through if we allow it, and don't get overawed by the occasion.
In the combined 11, what manager gets in, Nuno or Moyes?
I mean, you would probably have to say Moyes. Although at the end of the season, you might be saying something different. But I do think, obviously, Moyes has had a great career as a manager despite a few failed moves. Obviously, his job at Everton was brilliant, and he's doing a great job at West Ham. Nuno did great at Wolves, but you'd probably have to pick Moyes, wouldn't you?
Would you say Moyes' job at Everton was better than what Nuno did at Wolves?
Yeah, probably.
Like by a long way. Like, what did Everton actually achieve under Moyes? They got Champions League that one season.
Yes, they were just consistently.
But they did get relegated a couple of times under Moyes.
You'd say only once I can recall they really got relegated.
Maybe once. Maybe it was once.
Yeah, I think it was just before. It was the season after they got Champions League. Actually, look, I think the job he did at Everton for the having how consistently they were in the top top six. So I think the top 6 so consistently throughout his time there. So I think you got to say he did a great job. Just did steadying the ship, did a stable job brilliantly. You got to remember he got the Man United job off the back of that, and that goes to show how highly rated he was.
On the technicality of a legend.
On the technicality, no, but he did well. I think he did really well, and I think Nuno. He got 2 7th place finishes, and then it started to falter a bit. And it just shows how hard it is to keep up those standards year in, year out. And it's even hard. I'm sure it's harder now in this day and age. But he's proving now West Ham. He already came in once to West Ham, and then they let him go despite him doing his job of what he was brought in to do. And then they brought him back, and again he kicked on again, and he has this knack of developing players in different positions like Arnautovic and Antonio, completely revamping how they play, and he's doing a really brilliant job in that way. Everton, I would say, they didn't win a trophy under him, which they probably think was a bit of disappointment. But they were regulars in Europe, although I can't remember too many times they went far in Europe, to be honest.
No, I think in the Champions League, they never even made it to the group stages.
They didn't. And then not only that, they went to Europa League and they got knocked out as well in the qualifying. So that wasn't good. And I can't remember too many times in Europe, in general, when they were in Europa League, they got maybe beyond the round of 16.
Yeah.
I don't remember too many times. So
I don't think it happened once. I don't think it even happened once.
I think they might have made the quarters once.
Really?
Maybe.
Not that I can remember.
Maybe once. I can't remember too many times. But I just think, but in terms of the club they were and how they were regularly around the top 6, that was impressive. That was impressive to do. And obviously you have to keep rebuilding the team as well in doing that. And he did that successfully, keeping up the standards. But maybe people look over it with rose-tinted glasses in terms of what he actually did, in terms of really getting to serious parts of winning silverware or anything like that. I can't remember even Everton ever getting to a final, like a League Cup or FA Cup final. I remember they lost on penalties to United in a semi-final in the FA Cup. I remember that clearly. I don't remember them ever making a final. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I can't remember off the top of my head either.
Did they ever make a final, lads? The comments people always know.
I don't think they did.
I don't remember them ever making a final. So that goes to show maybe that's his level of manager. He's just not that elite manager, is he?
Yeah, credit to Moyes who keeping Everton in that 5th, 6th spot for a long time. But to be fair to Nuno, coming up for the championship and finishing 2 consecutive 7-spot finishes, and the season after that, if he didn't have that crazy injury problems that they had at Wolves, maybe they would have done it again. So I mean, he did a very good job there at Wolves, Nuno.
Yeah, he did. And if you survey any promoted club, any club right now in the championship, and you tell them you're going to get promoted and then finish 7th, 7th, and 13th, they would bite your hand off. For even that 13th finish. Yeah, obviously it shows it was a bit of a decline, but like it's so hard that I think in this day and age, that's the thing, because back in the day, right, managers back in like the early 2000s or whatever, or mid 2000s, managers got a bit of time and a bit more leeway, where if like right now it's like, unless your progression's like this, up, unless it's always like that, you're gonna be in trouble, right? If your progression starts to plateau or just go down a bit, then all of a sudden people start talking to you about getting sacked because, we're not seeing progression, blah blah blah. But back in the day, it used to be like, okay, we saw progression the last 2 seasons, although this season it's been a bit of a dip. Next season we can kick on again. But now you're not allowed that. It's like as soon as you get that dip, you're out of the door. And that's it. That's how they work nowadays. Yeah. And back in the day, like for example, Kerbishley, like he was in Charlton for 10 years, just being mid-table for the whole 10 years, because that's where they were happy with that. They thought and then you see where they are now. Ever since they sacked him, now they're nowhere.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't keep
League
up.
One now or something.
Exactly. And I think the lack of patience is clear. I think if Nuno was managing Wolves back in 2005 or whatever, they wouldn't have sacked him last year, or they also whatever it was, mutual consent or whatever, he would have been allowed more time. But because in this day and age, it's like as soon as you have a dip, you're not allowed to get the chance to improve that. It's like, no, we're just going to move someone else because it's better to get a fresh approach.
You can see the same with Pochettino as well. Exactly the same with Pochettino.
Yeah, mate. Look, I know we were 14th after 12 games and whatever, and we probably wouldn't even have got top 4 in that season. But who knows what would have happened if he would have stayed on and allowed a chance to get it right again. It was like the first time, even if you make the argument, which you could, that he was getting it wrong and whatever, lost his mojo. Why not give him an opportunity to put it right? It's like managers don't get opportunities anymore to put things right. It's like you're getting it wrong and that's it. Now because you got it wrong, you're out the door. And it's like, okay, I got it wrong. Can't I have it? Like I was saying before with Nuno, like when he lost 3 games in a row and everyone's saying, he needs to go. He needs to go. Like it's 3 game. Like can anyone see him improving? And I was like, I know he's getting it wrong, but can't you just give him an opportunity to get it right? And you've seen, given opportunity, he's got the balance right, and now we're starting to play well again. It's like managers just sometimes need a bit more time.
Yeah, completely agree. But
some people are saying they lost in the FA Cup final to Chelsea that one year. I remember that year. That was when Louis Saha scored, I think, in the first minute. I remember there, and then they lost 2-1. I remember that.
But let's end with our score predictions. What are you going for?
I said 2-1 to Spurs, I think.
2-1 Spurs.
Did I say 2-1 to Spurs?
Yeah, No, you said you can't predict the Spurs win just before.
No, did I say 2-1 Spurs in my?
I don't know. We haven't done that yet.
I'm trying to remember what I did. I think I said 2-1 Spurs. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs.
I've gone 2-1 Spurs as well. I've gone 2-1 Spurs as well. But you guys let me know your score predictions for this weekend in the comment section below.